So the big elephant in the room is, of course, we visited Nagasaki and Hiroshima, which almost everyone would know that that's where the two nuclear bombs were dropped on Japan. Actually, the only two nuclear bombs dropped on a town, period, I believe. They've been tested all over the place. And I'm not really sure how to do a video that actually gives it any sort of justice, because they were such atrocities that took place. Granted, whether or not they were justified or not justified is not the point of of this particular video. The point is that we went and we visited these places. So take that into consideration. There's all kinds of research that you can do on either one of those two sites. I always found it really interesting that whenever they talk, or whenever it seemed to talk about the nuclear bombs being dropped, you always heard Hiroshima, Hiroshima, Hiroshima. It was Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I think I've realized why they usually say Hiroshima is because Hiroshima was first and Nagasaki was second. But if you travel this section of the world, it's a must. You definitely need to go to the peace museums and the memorial sites. It's hard, but it's well worth it, that's for sure. You'll want to take the time and really thumb through the museums to really understand, or try to understand, what happened back then. And I think the main point is so that it doesn't happen again. And with how war-torn our world seems to be consistently, it's good to look back at history, because history is known to repeat itself, but it shouldn't in some senses, and this is one of those senses. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and put together our footage from Nagasaki and Hiroshima together, and we'll try to keep it somewhat light, but it's a heavy subject. So if that's not something that you're interested in, then you probably should skip this one and check out some of our other travel videos. But yeah, here you go.
So Danny doesn't believe that I know where the bomb museum is. He's got his Google Maps out. He's like, no, but it says we take a bus. And I'm like, no, because we've been to Hiroshima Station and I've seen, trolley cars, and it said take this one to go to the bomb museum. And Danny's like, oh, okay. And it's like, I know what I'm talking about.
Sorry, the camera jumped there. Daisy tried to tackle me. She gets it right one time and she's all like, woo woo. one time. It's okay, Daisy. We'll give you the one.
Google Maps says no.
It does. It says take a bus.
Although,
And you know what's funny though, is you always argue with Google Maps. You're like, that doesn't feel right. Daisy, you've never been there before. It's your first step on the ground. How's that done so far?
We're pretty good, because, yesterday we had to get on the Sonic 45. No, wait, what was it? And it was 754
Like I said.
Instead of 745, and it left it 1723, not 1720. Like, so close to the same thing that I almost took us to the wrong part of the country.
I'm not sure how that works with women's intuition part, because it was correct on the board.
When the lady with the husky voice was like, da, 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 da. And I was like, that don't sound right.
Yeah, husky women.
I'm not husky, I'm fluffy.
I'm fluffy. What were you talking about? I don't know. Hiroshima. Meow.
The lemon thing.
A lemon thing! Hiroshima cream lemon pudding. But look, it's got a floaty bit on top. That's like, no. That's like it's like a tub of lemon meringue.
Alright, that's weird.
It's like lemon, it's like lemon meringue, except as a pudding instead of a piece of pie.
chocolate. One thing it's missing is a graham cracker crust.
So we're going to take one of these streetcars to go to the atomic bomb dome. We're going to learn about that today. I found Nagasaki quite difficult, so it'll be interesting to see any differences, if there are any, between Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Well, the biggest difference is this one happened first.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so tips for travelers. That's one thing I have noticed is that it's impossible sometimes to find a place to put your trash or your recycling. They give you lots and lots and lots of things in little individual containers, but there's no place to put it. So I've been walking around trying to figure out where to recycle this, but I found a gotcha ball. Just read something really interesting, and I had no idea. It said that the U.S. actually never paid any reparations for the bombs that were dropped in Japan. And in fact, the Tokyo court found that it was the responsibility of the Japanese leadership because they started the war, and they were responsible and should have gotten out of the war earlier, which I found really interesting. Now, on the flip side of that, Japan did pay reparations to four different countries, including Laos and Cambodia, but never, they were going to pay North Korea as well, but they never paid that off. And it sounds like those debts were actually finalized as of 1977, which is interesting.
Bye.